information about side planks for scoliosis. So number one, in this version here, you see I'm on my forearm and I'm on my knees, so it's a modified version, but this is still demanding for the shoulder. So if you are not able to roll your shoulders back, keep your chest open, keep your neck long, side planks may not be for you, or you might need even extra support, like putting a big old bolster right under the side body or something to just start to develop the shape. So another concept with any exercises for scoliosis, and this applies to yoga, Schroth, Sayaz methods, is the concept of self-elongation. You're not just trying to bend your spine up and down. Always think of making yourself longer and taller, okay? So just a little sort of guidelines for if you should be doing side planks even modified. So we can modify, like I said, even more than this by putting a big old bolster under here, really supporting yourself so that you can move in the right places without moving too much in the wrong places. So let's look at this curve. Okay, so this is my right side. This is a very common curve, so it's a right thoracic. We named the scoliosis by the convex side, so this would be a right thoracic, left lumbar. So if you were to read the literature, or just not even the literature, but just what you'd pull up on Google, it would tell you, do your side planks with the convex side down. And then most people are more aware of their thoracic. Not everybody, depends on your curve, but more people are more aware of the right thoracic scoliosis or curve. So they would say, well, right side down. But maybe what they're not thinking of is the fact that if they have an S curve, they've got their right thoracic and they have a left lumbar, meaning it's convex on the left. Okay, so this concavity on the bottom side here is what you need to be really careful of if this is the position that you're doing your side planks in. It's hard for the lumbar spine. So in general, lower back lumbar spine is much more flexible than thoracic spine or middle back, and that's because we have ribs. So the rib cage makes this whole area more stable, a little less mobile than this part. So if you're over here working really hard, maybe struggling to even be in the side plank, you're going to lift from here, even though you're not trying to, right? So it's quite demanding and challenging to lift here in the thoracic spine without increasing this left lumbar curve. So this is advanced, right? Because it's a more difficult position. So first thing you'd want to be aware of is can you create this sense of elongation and move the right thoracic spine in without moving here. So I would work with a teacher for sure to help you with that. And I wouldn't start in this position. I would start opposite side. So your work would be on lifting the lumbar spine if I were to flip myself over here and controlling this side. So I hope that makes sense. And then the other picture, so what I wrote here, not great for the lumbar spine unless you're very aware and good at self-elongation, lengthening the spine, and not moving the lumbar spine as you draw the thoracic spine up and in. Okay, so very challenging. Next, so this would be maybe somebody not with an S curve, but a C curve. So I'm going with the most common, which is a right thoracic. Okay, really the same principles apply here, is you still need to create a sense of self-elongation versus just fulcruming. It's not like you're trying to just bend your spine from one side to the other. So elongate, and just by that elongation, you start to develop a decrease in your curves. Then from here, you would want to lift that right side up towards the ceiling, okay? But first the elongation. And then just so you know that even here, it's possible to fulcrum or push up too much right where the lumbar spine attaches to the pelvis. Because even though this is a C curve, at some point the curve ends, and that's where you are maybe a little more likely to overdo in the opposite direction if you're not careful. So same principles as the last slide, not as difficult to control here, okay? And remember the modifications. You can be on your knees, you can be on your elbows, forearm. So I hope that helps to clarify things a little bit.